What would you do if you found happiness in a world on the brink? A world whose systems were so corrupted that your only hope in saving humanity was to tear it all down and roll a d20 for if a giant Pokeball in the sky could save everything or have your respective universes collide and destroy each other. A decision so monumental in nature it is only rivaled with whether or not to pull one more time in a gacha game. Welcome to the finale of the Noah and Mio analysis series for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, where we discover where we belong, and we don't say goodbye, we say until next time, at least for now. Last time we covered the eclipse and Noah and Mio realizing the plight N&M had went through, and the road they walked, and that if they were going to protect the future, they would need to make a different choice. And funnily enough, Xenoblade 3 takes a bit of a pivot in its design philosophy from here on out to the final dungeon. See, we engage in two side stories. One for Mio and one for Noah, and they're really stretching the definition of side story when it's part of the main story. And each of these side stories, quote-unquote, deals with a particular person from each character's past. Mio with Manabe, and Noah with Chris. These side stories don't do much in the way of actively developing their respective characters, it's more a case of reaffirming their goals and beliefs. Mio learns Miyabi is still alive and reaffirms her purpose in this world and that she can make a difference even as an Overseer. And sure, this next part may take a little bit of thought, but think about it. And the Ionios is kind of like what they think Offseeing is like, right? At least through their perspective, where they are sending the souls off to no longer be tied there with their husks. Well, at the end of the game, when we get there in a bit, it's kind of similar, ain't it? Where they are sending the souls of everyone off for Ionios to go back to their worlds. Not everything can be resolved by fighting. In Xenoblade 3, a lot of the time they are, but not everything. And the only way they got through to Miyabi, Kamaravi, and the others is through the Offseeing song and the Sword of the End. Not even necessarily through the fight. We pop on over to Noah's side story, and it's very straightforward as well, with him discovering Chris is Mobius now, but for a very specific reason. He just wants to see Noah again. And through their meeting and Chris's eventual death, Noah's stance is reaffirmed. That yes, it's risky, yes, it may not work, and yes, the worlds may destroy each other and Origin falls, or fails, or whatever, but Ionios is the worst case scenario and can't go on. It's worth taking a chance anyways. The side stories don't do much in actively developing the characters, but they reaffirm Noah and Mio's beliefs and strengthen their resolve going into the finale. Like I said before, they already got most of these ideas from the Agnes Castle bit and the Eclipse, but they're reaffirmed here and crystallized. And then pretty much the next bit of character for Noah and Mio really comes from Origin. The Nia exposition wraps up Lanza's story with Yuren, and the rest of the Kavesi, Ouroboros, and then Nia gives a straight-up exposition about how Ionios was formed in the construction of Origin. But if we want to get to the next real big character development bit for Noah and Mio, it comes when we reunite with N. And he's not like how we left him off in Agnes Castle, or how we met them back in the Eclipse. He's a broken man, inside the depths of Origin, guarding Melia. And again, what makes N work as an antagonist so well is because he is Noah. So the development of one character is the development for the other. And I feel like a lot of the times we have this inherent default position, where we try and separate the characters of Noah and N, when we really shouldn't. Same thing with Mio and M. It's two sides of the same coin. And think of these Noah and N interactions as one grand inner dialogue between the angel and demon on your shoulder. Noah tries to reason with N. M is gone and she ain't coming back, and this isn't what she would want, but N is blinded by grief and anger, wanting to lash out at anything or anyone, refusing to put the blame on himself for the choices that he made. And N's anger intensifies as he's unable to strike Noah and Mio down, as if the world itself is against him. But Mio is finally able to break through his proverbial wall or armor by stating that he had it wrong the entire time. M didn't want this, she just wanted her Noah. But Noah changed so much as a person to where they stopped referring to each other as Noah and Mio, but as N and M. Mio basically says, when you think about it, hashtag you changed, hashtag ratio, hashtag fell off. Hearing Mio say this starts to get through to him, or at least open them up emotionally to hear Noah explain the rest and to really get through to him. And just wanted to protect his Mio. And there's nothing wrong with that feeling. He wanted to give her an eternity. But that eternity and that selfishness changed him fundamentally, and he was no longer the same person. It's okay to want to protect your happiness, and to have something you want to protect, or the vanguard to protect, something you want to preserve. And that's fine, that's a fine feeling. But it's a spectrum. and just went way too far with it. He was willing to sacrifice everything else and everyone else, including the concept of the future, to do so. And that was where he went wrong. But we always have the choice to keep on walking, to keep going step after step. It's only too late if we resign ourselves to that idea. He sees his Mio through our Mio and realizes her words are true. He can't write it off any longer, and used to fight for the future. Some part of him deep down still wants to, but he valued Mio more, so he became Mobius to protect the now. There's no other reason. But now, in Origin, at the hands of Ouroboros, he's at rock bottom. He lost the will to fight. He lost the fight even against Ouroboros, and there's nothing left for him here. Whole reason he became Mobius was to protect Mio. She's gone. And the only Mio left is the one on Ouroboros trying to stop him. The endless now is now just an endless emptiness for him, and the old ideals start to creep back up to the surface. He questions if he even can, if he's allowed to walk into the future and a different path after all he's done, but Noah assures him that he can, at least together. Two parts of the same whole. The part of Noah that wants to move into the future, tear this unequal world apart, and then the other part that just wants to protect Mio, and willing to preserve the now to do so, united as one. And the party would then go on from this point on to one-tap Z, and then N and M, the parts of Noah and Mio that wish to preserve the now, leave Noah and Mio. They separate again to go and finish off Z once and for all. And all that remains is the Ouroboros versions of Noah and Mio, the ones that wish to walk on into the future. A part of themselves died off there. It's poetic, right? It's not just a send-off to the antagonist of the game, au contraire, mon ami, but a part of the main characters as well, showing actual character development in a visual way. It's one of my favorite aspects to the whole Noah and Mio N&M dynamic. It's just how it's visualized, character development, and essentially a battle of wills inside themselves, just between different parts of their consciousness. And it's funnily enough, it's at this point where their character development largely ends for the game. Sure, there's one more scene near the end where Noah questions, or at least falters for a second, whether or not he wants to go through with the origin plan, wondering if he really is the one who should be able to make the call and tear everyone else's life apart that they've already established in Ionios. But at the very end of it all, he's willing to. And yeah, we saw the finale of the game, but it's mainly just executing on the principles that these characters have formed throughout the game and all the pain that it will bring, at least for now. Noah and Mio kiss, they say farewell, they both swear to each other we will see each other again. And if Xenoblade 3 has taught us anything, is that no matter how much joy or pain we feel in the now, we must always walk on into the future, into tomorrow, with the hope and drive to walk a path that we can be proud of, into a future of our own design. And here's where things start getting a little bit weird. Because if it was any other Xenoblade game, that would be the end of these characters. Story done, development's over, walk off into tomorrow, play the song that'll tear at your heartstrings, like Noah cut through a flame clock, job done, right? Well, this is where we kind of need to sidestep or pivot, or whatever form of movement you would like to do right now, because see, the ending of Xenoblade 3 is very different from 1 and 2. It's way more bittersweet, for one, whereas Xenoblade 1 and 2 had more clear-cut happy endings, which could be seen as a pro or a con depending on your perspective. But Xenoblade 3 does something that the other two games didn't do. See, it left us off in a cliffhanger. Yeah, a lot of times when I see people trying to say Xenoblade 3 is the end of the entire story for Xenoblade, they either A, misinterpreted a quote from Takahashi, or B, try and write off the post-credits scene as some kind of bug or mess-up, or it doesn't actually mean anything. It's Xenoblade, it always means something. Let's just get that one out the way. Until they literally say that it was a mess-up or something, I am taking that post-credits scene 100% at face value, as entirely intentional, that Noah heard the off-seeing tune, walked off into the crowd, and straight up vanished as a bird flew across the screen. If it was a sprite bug, why was it specifically Noah that disappeared and not any of the other extras instead? Like, this is the last scene of your game, you would have checked this. There's no shot this went under the radar. To me, this is intentional. What happened to Noah? But that's not the ending, actually, is it? Because there's one extra scene that a lot of people forget about. That final journal entry from Mio. At a time that we can assume to be either as Origin is activating or at some point in the future, after the events of Xenoblade 3, where she talks about remembering there was someone important to her. But the fog is becoming too thick to where even Noah's silhouette begins to become hard to discern. but that no matter what, she will remember, and that they will meet again. Fade to black, fade to the logo, fade to the main menu. Bit of a different ending for Monolith here, huh? Normally their endings have this sense of finality, ignore Xenoblade X, where the entire story wraps up with a nice bow and we can move on. No further explanation needed. And 3 could have had that if they, didn't do that post-credits scene, or that final journal entry. And for the people that say they probably didn't mean that, or there was some kind of bug, or that we're overthinking this, do you have any idea how much easier it would have been to have just not done those scenes? Having Noah say, walk on, fade to black, that's the end of the game, roll credits, back to the main menu, no further explanation needed. That, you could have ended it like that. Or, they could have had that post-credits scene, and instead of having Noah literally disappear after hearing the song, have Noah's run off towards Land's Union urine with fireworks going off, fade to the main menu, they moved into the future, congrats, you beat the game. And if they wanted this to have felt wrapped up, it would have taken far less effort to do so than what we got. So where are we at, really? Well, I've made theory videos before, and we got a DLC coming for Xenoblade 3 at some point in this year. And I've talked about my theory that Xenoblade 4 will be about reuniting the worlds. But I think an epilogue to this video series for Noah and Mio is in order. The story of Noah and Mio for Xenoblade 3 is wrapped up. Their development is done, at least for the confines of Xenoblade 3. Where could this story go? Or where could these characters go, if they do decide to revisit them? What theme or message could they tell? And next week, that will be the conversation we have. Instead of an analysis of the characters, let's do some predictions. Predicting the ending of the DLC, predicting the plot for Xenoblade 4, or at least the main message, and what they're trying to do here. And what could possibly be in the series up to this point that could support that, and could support those theories. So that's going to be next time. Hope you all enjoyed the video in this series. I really enjoyed making it. Noah and Mio are 2 of my favorite characters in this series, so leave a like and subscribe if you really like the channel, and you want to see more content, and you want to see more of these videos, because I thoroughly enjoy making them, and I hope you enjoy watching them. Leave a comment down below with who is your favorite, Noah or Mio, and why. Let me know. I'd love to hear your story and hear your opinions about this. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day. Go play some video games if you can. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.